Hi there, welcome to another exciting time, another educative time on healthy living with yours sincerely, Oluije Oyukokai. We say Barakah Salah, happy Eid al-Fitr to all our Muslim brothers and sisters out there. Now today on healthy living, remember health is wealth. We'll be looking at disease prevention and environmental cleanliness. Now, they say cleanliness is next to godliness. So many persons, they'll be like, okay, I am down with an ailment. And you ask yourself, how is your environment like? How is your living condition? How is it like? Are you in a healthy environment? Do you keep your environment clean? All right, so all of that we'll be talking about today on healthy living. And to do that with us is the person of sanitarian Egwanvoin Usazua. He is the Assistant Chief Environmental Health Officer, Local Government Council, and Deputy President, Environment Health Officer Association of Nigeria, Edo State Chapter. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Madam Oloiji.
Thank you so much. I would say happy Eid al-Fitr.
Same to you.
Okay, now first off, we're looking at disease prevention and environmental cleanliness. Now, coming from you as a sanitarian, now there used to be a time where we had the every Saturday or let's say once in a month sanitation exercise. Let's start with that.
Yes.
What happened?
Thank you so much. Firstly, environmental sanitation is a daily routine.
Okay.
It's a daily thing. As individual, owner of premises, we ought to carry out sanitation on a daily basis. That of the monthly sanitation is done especially to ensure that there is compliance in the movement of persons from one place to another.
Okay, so in order for there to be a compliance, especially for those persons that, to them, they are so busy, they don't have a specific time for them to, do well to clean their environment and all of that. So why do we have, or why was there a stoppage in all of this?
At the time, the sanitation was really going on. Once in a month, the government will set aside that last Saturday of the month because of the policy of the government. The government decided to say that sanitation is a daily routine, not that there's a stoppage, but just there's no restriction of movement
any longer.
Okay,
and now it's only restricted to those in the marketplaces every Monday.
No, just everybody is entitled to carry out sanitation, both in marketplaces and public places.
Okay. All right, so let's look at environmental conservation, the role being played in spreading of diseases. So how do our environments help to, curb this issue as far as the spreading of disease is concerned?
Okay, thank you so much. As far as I know, we human, we are the major cause of the problem of the diseases in the environment. Let's take a look at the scenario when someone will have to store refuse in a particular place in the environment. Refuse has to do with, it has odor and unsightliness, offensive
smell.
odor, offensive smell. Yes. By the time the refuse is giving offensive odor, they tend to be disease spread. Even rodents can go there and prey and feed on it. And thereafter, disease is spread to the general public. We talk about Lassa fever today. It's because of the dirty environment that humans live in. That's why diseases spread from one place to another.
Okay, now, as a sanitarian, how far have you gone in going to house? Now, we're looking at Eagle, for instance, going house to house to see that the refuse are being kept properly and the homes has been seen as being clean in our environment.
Okay, thank you so much. Like I earlier said, sanitation is a daily affair.
Routine.
Like in a go, there is what we call routine house-to-house inspection.
Okay.
It's being conducted in each houses that is being visited. Like we have officers that to man the various wards of the various local government council.
Okay.
Wherever they go to, they inspect. Certainly, they get to know if there is a nuisance. We call it nuisance because it is unsightly. It is not pleasant to the eyes. When they inspect and a nuisance is being detected, a notice is served to the person, the defaulter. And the defaulter is being made educated to make sure that he or she abates that nuisance. Except the person is not able to abate the nuisance. That is when sanction will now come into play.
Okay. All right. Now, we're looking at environmental prevention of diseases. How can one go about keeping refuse in an appropriate place in order for these diseases caused by our environment not to spread?
Yes, like what we normally tell people when we go for inspection. Firstly, we have what we call sorting at the source. When you generate waste, you need to sort during generation. We have the combustible waste. We have the putable waste. We have just those of the garbage that can be used for manure. You need to bag them in a particular place. Like recently, the state government banned this dual wall. There's something we call dual wall that's been attached to the fence of a building. It has been prohibited generally in Edo State.
And why so?
Because rodent can easily go there and prey on that refuse, and disease can spread. Even fly infestation. No, fly is a mechanical vector. When fly goes to that kind of refuse, use its hairy body and even its wings, and when they get in contact with the food and water we eat and drink, then disease will spread.
So, in a nutshell, how what's the best way to keep the refuse?
The best way is to provide a sanitary waste bin with tight-fitting cover and 2 handles, so that when the waste managers will come, it can easily be evacuated to the dump site.
Okay. Okay. So something that has a cover in it, and it's being kept outside or inside the house?
Outside
the house. Okay, so in all of this, your years of being a sanitarian, so what kind of disease do our environment, especially as regards waste, refuse and all of that, so what kind of disease do we see getting to one?
Okay, we have cholera. Cholera is one of the diseases. We have typhoid fever, even salmonella fever. We have this kind of diseases that can be transmitted through this filthy environment.
Okay. Okay, now, do air pollution and poor environmental condition affect respiratory health?
Yes, sure. Especially, as I have said before, some persons, they don't want to give waste to waste managers. They resort in burning, and burning is not, it's not good. By the time they start burning, definitely they are starting to pollute the environment, and it will have adverse effects on the general surrounding and even the environment, even thereby leading to global warming. We talk of today that the heat intensity of the world is now getting too much because of the activities of man. They tend to deplete the ozone because the ozone is a shield that protects us from the direct ultraviolet ray. But by the time they deplete that ozone, the greenhouse gases will be trapped in the environment. And by the time it's also fall back as rain to the environment, that is what we call acid rain. And when human consume such water, it leads to different type of diseases. Yes.
Now, you talked about Lassa fever.
Yes.
Now, how can one prevent, there's a kind of rodent, that carries this disease. How can one prevent this rodent from getting into the house?
Okay, firstly, I need to tell the whole world the type of rodent that transmits the Lassa fever. We call it infected female multi-mammate rat that has many breasts in its body. That rat is capable of carrying the rat flea and transmit it to human. If we are to prevent the spread of Lassa fever, firstly, we should avoid bush bunny. Because this rat, they lives in the bush. And by the time we engage in bush bunny, they'll find themselves into the house, into our dwelling place. And by the time they are there, they stay, because they are nocturnal pests. They are nocturnal pests. They are very active at night. By the time we are sleeping, they go as far as to either urinate in our food or our water. And when one consumes such food or water, he or she has contracted the Lassa fever. Thank you.
Okay, we hear some persons saying, oh, Lassa fever, the rat, like you said, it has a smell. I don't know if that is actually true. There is a foul smell, if that is actually true. No,
that is not the rat. That long-mouthed rat you are talking about, that is not the Lassa rat.
Okay, so to clear the air.
Yes, it's to clear the air. The Lassa rat, as I earlier said, has different type of breasts, many breasts in his body.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so not the one that has a foul smell.
At all.
Okay.
At all.
All right, in case you just joined us, this is Healthy Living, and today we're looking at environmental cleanliness and prevention of disease. A lot of us have gone down with different ailments, and we don't even know that it takes just a little from us to make our environment clean. Like our sanitarian has said, we should disease from bush burning. Yes, it's not edible, it's not healthy at all. All right, so we'll be going on a short break, and when we come back, we'll talk more on this. Don't go away. All right, welcome back, and we're still here looking at environmental cleanliness and prevention of disease around us. Let's look at the role of government in all of this. Yes, we know when we're talking about some ailments, we talk about governments bringing in their own expertise, resources, funds, and all of that. So what's the role of government in ensuring that our environment is clean, bush burning is eradicated as much as we can? So what's the role of government?
Yes, the role of government is to continuously sensitize the general public and put up legislation. Like the government also encourage tree planting, afforestation. You know, like when you plant trees, the trees you plant, they bring out oxygen.
Yes.
And certainly we, as humans, we breathe out carbon dioxide. The oxygen that the trees brings out is what we require as human, of which by the time the environment is green, certainly these diseases will be minimal.
Okay, so when we talk about tree planting, is it every household that should engage in all of this?
Yes, every household should engage in tree planting. When you get to my house, you need to see the environment, how it look like. Yes, it's everybody.
Okay, now let's look at the role of waste management, the role they play in controlling disease spread.
Okay, like we have waste managers, the accredited ones in the 18 local government area of Edo State, authorizedly accredited by the various local governments. Like what the role they play is frequent evacuation of refuse in various houses, in premises.
But we don't find that happening now. We get to wait for them for 2-3 months before they come to evacuate this refuse.
Yes, certainly I'm not aware of that, but we have also encouraged people time without number that when they get to know if the waste manager have not come to evacuate their refuse, they should try as much as possible. They report to the nearest local government council.
Okay.
Yes.
In all of this.
Yes.
Okay, now, looking at the role of government also, do we find government, like in the Western world, we find governments given some of this waste bins. So do we find government helping the populace in getting this waste refuse? Like you said, there should be a can covered with handles and all, I'm sure, to ease those waste disposers. Now, do we have governments helping out in all of this?
Yes, yes, certainly. Even our last meeting in the Waste Management Board, we had some waste bin to be distributed to various locations,
Okay.
of which we also give this black polythene paper.
Yeah.
You wrap your waste in before you dump into the waste bin.
Okay, so before we go, we'll look at businesses.
Yes.
How would you say businesses, partners, and persons in general can come in to partner with you as a body? How can businesses and persons come together to partner with you in order for us to, you know, ameliorate the issues of prevention of environmental diseases?
Yes, like recently, we have engaged waste managers, people that are ready to partner with the Department of Environment in each local government council. If they have waste truck, they can come.
Yeah.
We give them a zone. That is partnership,
Okay.
of which by the time they evacuate waste in various locations, we can also minimize the spread of diseases through waste.
Okay, true. So in a nutshell, your advice to everyone out there as regards environmental cleanliness. Yes, we know cleanliness is next to godliness. We find some persons, you go to their home and you're wondering, is this the place that someone is actually living in? So let's start off first with your advice to the populace out there as far as environmental sanitation is concerned and cleaning of the environment.
Yes, my advice to the general public is that, firstly, cleanliness is next to godliness. When your environment is clean, it has a positive impact on your earth, because the slogan which says the earth of one man is the earth of all. When one man is healthy, that means every other person in the environment will be healthy. But if one man is sick, maybe because of environmental challenges, definitely the disease will also spread to the general public. So my advice is that the general public should maintain a high standard of hygiene, both environmental and personal hygiene.
Okay, that brings in mind, I recently, I went to Port Harcourt a time ago, and I found out that at night there were heaps of, you know, refuse everywhere in some places, and in the morning they were all evacuated. And when we come to Benin City, Edo State, Nigeria, we find out that we don't have these things happening. So, especially in the marketplace. So, what is your office doing to ensure that these things are not being done? Actually, we're coming to the raining season now, and we find lots of persons, they are waiting for the rains to start. And when it starts raining, they take out their refuse to the rain and tell the rain, oh, take it away. So, what's the role of your office? What's your office doing to ensure that every now and then the refuse are being taken away, especially this corn season?
Yes, let me use my office as an example.
Yes.
The local government council. I know that what we do cleanliness 3 times in a week. On Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We have men that are called local government road makers. They go from one location to the other. They clean the gutters. Then they clear overgrowths in public places, of which we have waste managers that come to evacuate the refuse in the affected places. So like I can really speak. We do that. We do that.
Okay. All right. So prevention of disease, talking to our people or in order for them not to get sick, especially when we're having the rains around the corner. So what's your advice to them?
Yes, my advice is that they should store their waste very well. They should ensure that they maintain our environmental standard of hygiene by clearing overgrown weeds. Like we have a mosquito that can transmit malaria, and they dwell in overgrown weeds, where there are overgrown weeds
and stagnant water.
And by the time they breed there, they lay eggs there, and they they multiply there. If peradventure they bite infected person and now transmit it to the other, that means malaria has spread.
Okay. All right, so you've heard it from Sanitera Egwavoy Osazua. He has actually told us what we should do and what we need to also do as humans. Take good care of your environment. It doesn't take anything from you. You find some persons, they don't even know how to hold the cutlass. It's very, very simple. Take good care of your environment and stay healthy. So we'll be seeing again next week for another exciting time. Senator Egwavoy, your last word for everyone listening to us right now.
I want to say that we should maintain high standard of both environmental and personal hygiene, especially in our dwelling places. I want to also tell the general public that they should ensure that they report to the nearest local government whenever waste managers is not coming to do their duty to perform as expected to evacuate waste. Thank you.
All right. Cleanliness is next to godliness. To have yourself a blessed day and happy Eid al-Fitr to all our Muslim brothers and sisters. To have a blessed day. Bye for now.